We are Steven and Jill. Together, we've been buying and reselling land since the 90s.
Our data-centric approach leaves our buyers asking, how can you sell it so cheap?
Here on the Land Academy Show.
We answer that and more. Steve and Jill here.
Hi.
Welcome to the Land Academy Show, entertaining land investment talk. I'm Steven Jack Butala.
And I'm Jill DeWit, broadcasting from sunny Southern California.
Today, Jill and I talk about failing repeatedly and how it's the first requirement to staying on course.
This is clearly a Jack topic.
In hindsight, it could have been a different title, but what it really means is this. You got to be comfortable with the fact that some stuff's going to go wrong and sideways. It does with everything in life. And if you just get through the parts where it's not working, eventually it's going to work. If you try hard enough at it, or either decide that it's not for you. I talk about this really early on in the Land Academy years about, I will never play the guitar. I just won't. And it's not because I can't learn how to do it. It's just that I don't enjoy the process. At the end, it doesn't justify the means and all kinds of stuff. It's not that I'm not smart enough. I just don't, for whatever reason, make it a priority.
On that note, if you look on OfferUp right now, you'll see 4 left-handed guitars for sale.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, just because I bought a cool guitar doesn't mean I really know how to play it at all.
I know we can get one a great price on a guitar right now.
And, I tried and failed and decided, nope.
Not for me.
You know what? I tried and failed in my land career, too. Tried and failed.
Well, that sung to you.
Yeah.
That made sense.
But I decided I'm still going to try because I want to do it.
Okay, let's talk about this more on the show because this will be a fun thing to talk about. Things that we thought about and then we didn't pursue. Okay.
Before we get into it, let's take a question posted by one of our members on the landinvestors.com online community. It's free.
Jessica F., hello Jessica, wrote, hello all. I'm wondering what kind of due diligence you do related to the neighborhood the property is in. Do you analyze, if at all, if the property is in a nice neighborhood versus a not so nice one? How do you know where the desirable areas of town are outside the prices of houses sold? Are there specific indicators you look for, either good or bad, that can tell you more about a neighborhood beyond just the numbers of properties listed and sold? Thanks.
I can tell you that with extreme confidence. I don't look at this at all. Not a single bit. And here's why. Because if I look at days on market, if I look at DOM, days on market, in a place, let's say, the Rust Belt is famous for having, I'm from Detroit, so there's terrible neighborhoods in Detroit. There has been since the 60s. But if the days on market in those markets was, within the range where we actively invest, I would be buying there. I don't care why people buy property or don't buy property or what they're looking for. But if 50 properties sold, in the days on market, in any market, there are 50 properties, you have to take all the 3 statistics from the red, green, yellow test and look at them together but I'll tell you what, if you don't have time to do that or don't have the interest or whatever, days on market's going to smoke it all out for you.
So what I think you're saying is the numbers speak for themselves, which is I like this.
This is for land only. For houses, it's a little different.
Well, I was actually going to put it on houses a little bit too, because I'm going to follow me on this here. The numbers should tell the story. Days on market are low within X amount of whatever radius you choose. Maybe it's a zip code, maybe it's a radius. I'm not sure, whatever it is. Price per square foot. Oh, you're like rocking it, kind of thing. After that, am I going to look up the school system? No.
Mm-mm.
Am I going to see what's going on in the main street and how many events they have each year? No. Am I going to look at how pretty things are? Mm-mm. No. So I think that I want to make it so we're on the same page. And I think, and again, for land or houses, it's really still numbers.
The only thing that would come into play for me with houses is the entire subdivision, or in some of the Rust Belt cities cases, was it built between 1918 and 1939? Because those houses are so hard to renovate and keep up and all that. So,
but that would probably be reflected in days on market.
Yes, it would. So that was my final point.
Mm-hmm.
All those things naturally affect days on market, just because buyers don't want to buy there, or the prices adjust to themselves and all of that.
Right. That's exactly right.
So if I were a house renovator and I had a show on HGTV, I would look at what Jessica's talking about here.
That's what I say, or if it was like a primary residence. Because and that's the thing. It's this. The saying is still true. Are you going to win emotionally? Or you're going to win financially. So if you're going to win financially, you're not going to look at this stuff. You're going to look at just the numbers and let that tell you what to do. If you want to win emotionally because you want to live there and you want a different school system and you want to have a safe park to walk to, now you're looking at that stuff.
Right.
Good question.
Today's topic, failing repeatedly, is the first requirement to staying on course. This is the meat of the show.
I have one more thing to add about that.
Sure.
I don't have the time. That's my other thing. I'm doing so many deals. As you know, we have so many things going through our stuff. I don't have time to spend to get to know the area like that and see how the school is ranked, in the nation, and that kind of stuff. That takes a lot of time.
We're in the process of wrapping up what I think has been an extremely successful mailer campaign in the very center of the country. And it's not the nicest place in the world. But the days on market are amazing. All the other real estate tests that we look at, like how far is it from major cities, all of those, the tests that we talk about over and over again about where to send mail, it passed all those tests and the mailer did well.
Exactly.
And it's not the nicest place,
Yeah.
It's just not the nicest place when you look at it. But everybody wants to be there.
Exactly.
That's all I care about.
Yep.
So Jill was asking right before the question, what have you failed at?
Oh yeah. So okay, so you mentioned the guitar. I'm thinking, I like to think, you're going to tell me if this is right or not. I like to think that I've failed enough, and I have created like my own little list of conditions that I won't invest money in something unless I know. For example, remember back when I was making jewelry?
Yeah.
I was never going to make money at that. It was just kind of a fun thing. I thought, well, maybe on the side I could make some money doing jewelry, right? This is like so weird, right? You never thought you'd hear me say this.
This is a hobby.
I did. So, but it's so, and then I invested a bit of money into this, getting all the tools and classes, and I almost bought a kiln, but I didn't. But so there was a lot, and then at the end, after 2 years, what happened? I kept my favorite pieces, and then I donated everything else. So someone else got a bunch of tools, great stuff. I didn't care. It was a goodwill event, and that's fine. So now I'm like, I catch myself because we've all had a few of those in life.
Sure.
And I'm like, how much? Now I have my own little mental checklist. Like, I'll be somewhere, and I'll go, I want to raise horses. I want to do, like, for example, we talked about I want a horse. Wouldn't this be a great thing, right? Because we're looking at properties. I'm like, looking at cabins and stuff with some land. I'm like, I can finally get my horse. This is what we're doing. And I'm like, whoa. Before you go down that path and buy a horse and figure out where to put him and what's going to happen, who's going to train him and do it when you're not there, how bad do you really want to do this? So, because I would fail. I know that, even though it's kind of a loose example, but having a horse, raising a horse, come on, that's not my thing. I don't have time for it. I would maybe go ride it once a month or a couple times a month. Is that worth owning your own horse? No. I can rent a horse or borrow my neighbor's horse and, pay them something, and that's the best way to do it. So
I've had a lifelong love-hate relationship with long-term care facilities.
Oh, yeah.
I cut my teeth after the accounting portion of my career. We were buying and selling nursing homes and brokering them, effectively brokering them very effectively.
Yeah.
And I very successfully from a fee-driven standpoint. Then I got involved in ownership. Then I got involved in management. And the whole idea was to vertically integrate myself. And, we were going to buy a pharmacy company and home health. And one of the companies we actually took public. And eventually that didn't work out. So I had a lot of successes and a lot of failures. And ultimately decided not to get involved in it or stay involved in it at all. So I always had a land business on the side while I was doing this. And always loved it. It just required so little of my attention and gave back financially so much.
Land?
Yeah, land.
Yeah.
But, this was back kind of before the internet, and, it was in the early 90s, before the internet was a household thing. And so, there were still the people that you really respected, and some of it's like still now. You take companies public, and there's this big dollars, and everybody's wearing a suit to work. So I was young, and that was really impressive and worked for me at the time. You get older, and it's just like, you know what? All this is just it's just not real. Mm-hmm. And so healthcare itself, too, is you really have to start to ask yourselves, like, I don't know, should I be making this much money owning a healthcare facility we're trying to provide care? Is it a nonprofit better, a for-profit better? So there's all these things that just kept going, pros and cons that kept happening for almost a decade before I finally said, I'm just going to buy and sell land.
Doesn't mean it wasn't going to work. Just you decided it wasn't for you.
Exactly. That's the same thing with the guitar. It's not a priority enough. There's enough things, enough hurdles and enough stuff that I have to do that I'm just not going to dig it to make me stop.
So is the point, then that tells me, I think the point today is you got to try a bunch of stuff and you're going to fail.
Yes.
But one of them's going to go, this is it.
Yep.
It's almost like we talk about your niche will find you sometimes, not like you find your niche. Once you get in even within our world, there's so many different kinds of properties you can invest in and things you can do that one will rise to the top. You're going to be the pro of X over here because you realize no one else is doing it.
Yeah.
And you're going to do great and you're going to kill it over there.
I'm just not, you're actually better at this than I am. I am not afraid of failing. I just don't, I don't take it personally. I'm not afraid. There's a couple pieces of property that we have in inventory still that, we're probably going to have to, if we want to get rid of them at all, we're either having to step up marketing to the point of insanity, or we're just going to have to sell them at a lower price just to get them moved. And I don't look at that as a failure. I think that's kind of funny.
I don't care. I don't care about this.
I think it's a natural
why?
course of this.
Well, yeah, because it's like, because we're not into it. We're not into it. That's why these whatever properties we've had them so long, whatever. I don't know why we stopped caring about them, but we kind of did. So this is really seriously my lack of excitement is your gain. You can have them, kind of thing. So
my point is, I'm not and Jill's is fearless. She doesn't care what people think on the phone. She's truly fearless when it comes to business.
Thank you.
And deals and all of that.
Thank you.
So, I again, there's some new members coming on, and they're asking questions as they should. And one of the questions I get a lot, and this is usually way before people join. This is over at a cocktail party maybe. So we've done all these deals, well, how many did you lose on? And I wouldn't be standing here in front of this whatever house that we're standing in that's ridiculously expensive if we failed on a lot of them. But I get that question a lot. Mm-hmm. And I think the kind of person that asks that question is, do you fail at 49% of them and make it on 51? Or, I think that there's a personal thing.
Do you fail at 9 and make it at 1? You know what I mean?
I just don't. I don't know.
We don't.
We don't.
We don't. That's not why we would be here. But it's right. So I
don't think of it that way.
So if you're new, you're starting out, and you're trying to get into this, and you want to stay on course, please plan on failing.
Yes.
Please plan on making a mistake.
Thank you for stating
because it's going to happen. And we're going to tell you again. I'm going to repeat what we have said many times before. We're not going to let you fall that far. We're right here. If the only reason you would not be successful is if you don't use us and use your resources. You should be, if you are not positive about some of your decisions, you better be on that Thursday call and giving us a deal, and we'll review it for you, and we'll do it with you, so you can go, I got it. And you have questions about, you're going to fail talking to sellers. That's why I'm here. Ask me about it, and I will tell you, and go back and listen to some of our stuff all about it. We're right here. We really mean it when we say you're not alone. Is that? Yeah, it is in the. We do do we say that at the end of the show? Yeah, we do. Yeah, you're not alone. We'll help you. But I want you to plan on making some mistakes. It's not going to be perfect. You're not going to be perfect. There are a lot of moving parts, but we're here to help you every step of the way, so it's not going to be catastrophic. Like that?
Yeah, perfect.
Thank you. I got a tickle in my throat. Do you have anything else you want to add? Okay. Okay. Happy you could join us today. 5 days a week, you can find us right here on the Land Academy Show.
Join us next week for another interesting episode. You are not alone in your real estate ambition.
See, there was that phrase.
Yeah.
In a good way. In a great way. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you find our content valuable, and we really appreciate your support. If you haven't already, please check out our YouTube channel and hit the subscribe button.
And your comments and suggestions help us to create the type of content you're here for. Hitting the like button on your favorite episodes helps to support our channel's algorithm and gauge your interest in future shows.
We are Steven Jill.
Information
And inspiration
to buy undervalued property.